Hello everyone, welcome to Catherine's ESL Classroom. In today's lesson, we are going to focus on ED words. What are ED words? ED words are words like walked and talked and played. Do you ever say talked or played? Well, those are incorrect, and there are 3 ways to use ED words. So let's get started. Okay, so we're going to focus on how to pronounce ED. What do you know about how to pronounce ED? So make sure you get your pen and paper. Some summary rules to help you remember. And we're going to go over some fun learning sound games. So remember, when you pronounce the words, you also have to listen to the sound, okay? So are you ready? You have your water, you have your pen and paper or your pencil. So let's get started. Pronunciation lesson. How do you pronounce these verbs? For example, played. Do you say played? Well, it's played. Worked. Started. All of these verbs end the same way. Why do they sound different? Okay, so if verbs end in all of these letters, okay, the verb has a D sound. For example, played. It's not played, it's played. So repeat after me. Played. Learned. Not learned, learned. We call these voiced sounds. How to pronounce ED verbs again. If verbs end in all of these letters, okay, S, P, F, S, 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 H, K, and CH. Does everyone know what this sound is? Shh. This is one sound. And this is K. It's k, k. And what's the CH? Ch, ch. So if the verb ends in these letters, the sound has a T sound. For example, worked, not worked, worked. Passed, passed. Repeat after me. Worked, passed. We call these unvoiced sounds. Here are some more how to pronounce ED verbs. If a verb ends in a T or a D sound, the verb has an ID sound. For example, started, start-id. So the ID sound is id. Start-id. Repeat, start-id. Rent-id. So the ID sound is id. Rent-id. Are you repeating after me? Did you get it? Now we're going to practice. Let's decide whether the verbs end in a T sound, a D sound, or an ID sound. Now, does everyone remember what ID sound? It's not ed, it's id. Id. See how my mouth is shaped? Id. Does everyone know how to say this word? Tongue. Tongue twisters. Repeat, tongue twisters. So tongue twisters are the following. Now I'm going to say the sentence, and then you're going to repeat with me, okay? So we're going to say this twice. I wondered as I walked when my friend would start to talk. Repeat. I wondered as I walked when my friend would start to talk. Now, did everyone pick this up? This is not wondered, this is wondered. So you take out the E and it's just a D sound, wondered. As I walked, now it's not walked, it's walked with a T, okay? Now everyone repeat. I wondered as I walked when my friend would start to talk. How'd you do? Don't worry, we have more practice, so you'll get it. Remember, 3 sounds. I gazed and I was amazed by the wonders of the maze. See how it's a tongue twister? It's a lot to say. So if we say it slowly, we can get it. I gazed and I was amazed by the wonders of the maze. Did you repeat after me? So as a tongue twister, we'll say it fast. I gazed and I was amazed by the wonders of the maze. Did you get it? So this one, gazed, is not gazed, it's gazed. So take out the E and it's a D sound. What's this one? Amazed. Another D sound. It's not amazed, it's amazed. Here's another one. Now think about this word and think about this word. Now these are for you to think about. What sound is it? There's 3 sounds. We have the D sound, we have the T sound, and we have the ID sound. Now the ID sound is not ed or ed, it's id, okay? I loved and I hated my job. I was a waiter. Did you get it? So think about the sounds. Now say this with me. I loved and I hated my job. I was a waiter. So this is the D sound, loved. So take out the E and pronounce it. Loved. Hated, what sound is that? That's the ID sound. Hated. Remember, ID is id, hated. Okay, let's say this faster. This is a tongue twister. I loved and I hated my job. I was a waiter. Did you get it? Okay. What do we have here? And what do we have here? Do you know the sound? Remember, 3 sounds. T sound, D sound, and ID sound. I chopped and I peeled the carrots for the meal. So what sound was this one? Chopped. This is a T sound. So replace ED with T, and now it's chopped. And I peeled. Take out the E and just leave the D. It's a D sound. Peeled. Okay? So let's say this fast, like a tongue twister. I chopped and I peeled the carrots for the meal. Did you get it? Let's say this super fast. I chopped and I peeled the carrots for the meal. Can you say it faster? Here's the challenge. I chopped and I peeled the carrots for the meal. That was a tongue twister, right? Probably need some water for that. I think I'm going to drink some water. Okay. Uh-oh. Does everyone remember Betty Boop on prepositions? Here's another tongue twister. Betty Boop, the dog, pulled and she jumped as she had her head stuck in the bush. Okay, so what is this sound? Pulled. It's just the D sound. So take out the E and make it P-U-L-L-D. That's the sound. Pulled. It's not pulled, it's pulled. And she jumped. So this is a T sound. Take out the ED and make it J-U-M-P-T. Okay? Now let's say this fast. Betty Boop, the dog, pulled and she jumped as she had her head stuck in the bush. Did you get it? All right, I'll say it slower. Betty Boop, the dog, pulled and she jumped as she had her head stuck in the bush. Did you repeat after me? Okay, now I'm going to say this super fast. Get ready, drink some water. Betty Boop, the dog, pulled and she jumped as she had her head stuck in the bush. Wow, that was a little hard. Okay, need some water again. Tongue twisters, you tend to have to drink some water. How'd you do? That was fun, right? Don't worry, I have some more for you. Okay, now everyone think about the words here. I'll give you some time to read it. Okay, let's get ready. I complained because I had loaned my friend some money towards her new home. Did you get it? This was a long one. Okay, so these are D sounds. So it's not complained, it's complained. This one's loaned. Okay, it's not loaned, it's loaned. Okay, now repeat after me. I complained because I had loaned my friend some money towards her new home. Now get ready, we're gonna say it even faster. Repeat after me. I complained because I had loaned my friend some money towards her new home. Is it getting easier? All right, let's say it super fast. Get some water. I complained because I had loaned my friend some money towards her new home. Whew, that was fast. How'd you do? Remember, these are D sounds. Complained, loaned. Okay? Now, we're just going to go over some summary rules, okay? This is just a little cheat sheet for you and to help you with the sounds, okay? Okay. So, for example, the past simple tense, work, and past participle, worked, of all regular verbs end in ed, okay? In addition, many adjectives are made from the past participle and so end in ed. For example, I like painted furniture. So this is an ID sound, painted. So this is the base word, paint, and this is an ID sound, id, painted. I like painted furniture. So painted is the adjective. Did you get that? The question is, how do we pronounce the ED? Remember, the answer is in 3 ways. What are the 3 ways? Do you remember? ID, T, what's the other one? D, okay? Got it? 3 sounds. Okay, so if the base verb ends in one of these sounds, okay, T, the base word is want. So it ends in T. So if it ends in T or D, see, and D, then the sound would be pronounced with the ID sound. Remember, ID is id. So this would be want-id and id. So there's an extra syllable. Does everyone remember what the syllables are? 2 sounds. So the sound of want and then id, want id, okay? Want id and id, 2 sounds. That's an extra syllable because this is 1 syllable and now this is 2 syllables with the ed sound, okay? Now, if the base verb ends in one of these sounds, there are a lot here. Now, this is not everything, but this is most of them. So if the base verb, hope, okay, so these are unvoiced because there's an E here, okay? We don't pronounce the E, we just say hope. Laugh, GH sound is an F sound, okay? Remember, these are sounds, not spelling. Hope, P sound. F sound is a GH. Facts, okay? The X sound is an S sound. Wash, okay? This is a funny one. This is a phonetic. Phonetic is just a sound, okay? Wash. Watch, okay? This is a phonetic here too. This is just a sound. So this T and this squiggly S, or even an F that might look like it, but it's really a T and then kind of like a squiggly S, is watch, okay? Now, if you have a hard time understanding how to pronounce the word or the sound, just look at my mouth. Watch, watch, okay? Here's another one, like. We don't pronounce the E, so it's a strong K, like. Okay, so now if they end, we end these with ED, it's a T sound, okay? Now we spell it this way, but it's pronounced and sounds like a T. So if you spell this H-O-P-T, okay, it would be hoped, okay? It's a long O, hoped, hoped. What would this one be? Now, if we have the T sound, what would it sound like? Laughed, laughed. Not laughed, laughed. What about this one? Remember, T sound, so take this and add the T at the end, and what would it be? Faxed, faxed. Okay, not faxed, faxed. Now, here's the base word, and add this at the end for the T sound. What would it be? Washed, washed. Now I know you're seeing ED at the end, but it's not washed, it's washed. What about this one? Add the T at the end for the sound. How would you say this one? Watch. And now with ED sound, with the T, watched, watched. What about this one? Like, yeah, the T. Now I hear a lot of people say like it. It's not correct. So if you add the T sound, it's liked. Spelled this way, but it has a T sound at the end. Okay? So there's no extra syllable. It's just 1 syllable. Hoped, laughed, faxed, washed, watched, liked. Did everyone repeat after me? We need some more practice, right? Don't worry, I have some more for you. All right. You're like, more rules. Yes, one more set of rules. These are just all other sounds, and these are just some examples, okay? Now, just so you know, these are just some simple rules just to help you, okay? Now, the beauty of this video is that you can pause it. You could take a picture of this, or you could save this video and just replay it and practice, okay? Now, it's more fun if you practice with somebody else. You can even practice with your children. That could be very fun. Okay, all other sounds. So an example of a base verb, play. Now, if you have the Y at the end, this is just play, you pronounce the ED sound as a D, played, not played, played. What about this one? You add the base word plus the D sound, what would it be? allowed. Not allowed, allowed. What about this one? Add the D sound. Beg, begged. Not begged, begged. Now there's no extra syllable, so it's only one syllable, one sound. Now repeat after me. Remember, it's all a D sound, okay? Play, played. Allow, allowed. Beg, begged. Did you get it? Sure, you're getting better, right? It's getting a little bit easier. Hope so. Okay, let's play some games. We have 4 games, okay? So keep track. Now you're going to choose the ED sound. Now how many sounds of the ED? Remember, 3. We have D, we have T, and the hard one, ID, that's an ID sound, okay? Okay, now we have 3 words here. Now think about it. I'm going to say the word. So you think about the sound at the end. Started. I'll repeat. Started. Is it a T sound, a D sound, or an ID sound? ID is ID. Started. Okay. Next one. Played. Played. Is it a T sound, a D sound, or an ID sound? I'm going to say this 2 times. Fixed. Fixed. Is it a T sound, a D sound, or an ID? Does everyone have it? Okay. Here are the answers. Did you get it? Did you get it? I hope you got it. Okay, so let's repeat. Started, played, fixed. Bet you're getting better. Okay, another 3 set of words. You're going to choose the ED sound. So by now, you should know there's 3 sounds. T, D, and ID for ID. Okay, I'm going to say the word and you write down the sound. Pulled, pulled. Wanted, wanted. Talked, talked. Okay, this one's a little tricky, okay? I'm going to say it again. Pulled, wanted, talked. Okay. Now here, I made one mistake, okay? I did it on purpose because I want you to tell me which one is wrong, okay? Which one is wrong? Are these wrong or are these wrong? Okay, I'm going to pronounce these one more time. So listen to the sound. Pulled, pulled, wanted, talked. Okay, think you're getting it. Pulled, wanted, talked. So which one is wrong? This one. It's not talked, it's talked, talked. Okay? So I want to make sure that you're listening. So it's very important that you listen. Okay, I'm going to say it one more time. Pulled, that's correct. Wanted, this is correct. Talked. So what should this be? This should be a T, okay? So I hope you're writing this down or crossing this out. I like to challenge my students. Let's see what happens next for game 3. Are you ready? 3 sounds, what are they? T, D, and ID for what? Id. Okay, 3 words. Now you tell me if they're all correct or wrong, okay? You gotta pay attention. These are sounds. Needed, I'm going to repeat, needed, realized, reached. Okay, let's see. You get it? Everyone ready? I think you're getting the hang of it. Needed, need-id, 2 sounds, 2 syllables. Needed, realized. Is that 1 syllable or 2 syllables? Realized. So it's 2 syllables, but not an extra syllable or another sound, okay? Reached, reached. Is that 1 syllable or 2 syllables? And is it an extra sound? 1 sound, 1 syllable, okay? Last one. Okay, 3 sounds. Locked, locked. Decided, closed. Okay, do you have them all written down? Which sounds? Locked, locked. Decided, decided. Closed, closed. Are these all correct? Are they correct? Yes, they are. I wanted to see if you were listening. Okay, well, you finished. Congratulations. Was that easy or was that hard? Well, you should be very proud. You just completed some of the most difficult ED pronunciation words. So remember, 3 sounds to ED. Which are they? T, D, and ID. What's ID sound? Id. Well, thank you for joining with me in Miss Catherine's ESL classroom. I wish you a wonderful day, and until next time, bye.